Hi, I'm Shoestring Jay and welcome back to my channel where I talk about all things thrifty, frugal and money saving. And today I'm going to talk about something really special to me, and that is the fact that I've finally published a book. I did mention it in my last video and I've put it on my social channels as well, but it got published this week and it has been a labour of love, but it's also been a long drawn out bit of procrastination on my part because I must have started it about, trying to think, when I was still at work. I was still working full time and I started the book and I did quite a few kind of chapters, and I had kind of planned out some of the chapters, but I was working full time. I still had a family. It was just really busy and I found I couldn't quite get into the flow of it. So I ended up putting it to one side for a couple of years and then coming back to it determined to get it done. I'm going to get it done this year. And that was probably about 3 years ago. I was like looking at it determinedly, said I'm going to get it going and we're going to do it. Looked at it, thought, oh, I like these bits, but I kind of have moved on a little bit from that point of view. And I felt I'd kind of learned more in the process. So I actually started again from scratch. It is broadly based on my blog, shoestringcottage.com, but it's got an old style flavour because that's what I find myself drawn to now. Here it is. It's called Extreme Frugality, Save Money Like Your Grandma. And I have a subtitle which kind of sums it up too, I think, which is How to Live a Creative, Happy and Sustainable Life on Much Less. The sustainability aspect is quite important to me as well. And I've mentioned this before, really, that I find that frugal living and sustainability do tend to go hand in hand. So they're good bedfellows. And the reason it's called Save Money Like Your Grandma is that I'm constantly inspired really by the idea of, well, my grandmother's generation, but really our great grandmothers really at this point, isn't it, that survived the Second World War and had to deal with rationing and had to grow some of their own food and survived on really much less than they would have in the past, and certainly a lot less than most of us have now, even when we think we're broke. And the reason they survived was that they were really creative. I mean, the government helped. They had these great pamphlets and things that came out, and it was mainly focused at the housewife because I guess a lot of the men were off fighting. But different times. Mostly it was women that had to do that, but it was everybody. It was a whole society thing that you had to make, do and mend. You had to waste nothing, and you had to be really creative with what you've got and your skills, and really use them to the best of your ability to enable you to live a happy and healthy life. And I think I have read that the diet that they had during the war and after, in the post-war years when they were still rationing, was really good. And when you think about the fact that they wouldn't have had a lot of sugar, they certainly wouldn't have had a lot of junk food, it just wasn't a thing. They would have still been eating, that meat and two veg type dinner, that they were eating a lot more fruit and vegetables. They didn't snack on a lot of crisps and sweets. The diet was simple. It was eating probably produce that was in season because we didn't have the imports that we have now. We would have imported things that we couldn't grow ourselves, like bananas, but now we import so much that we could grow here and do grow here that it seems a bit nonsensical to me when you think that we are in a climate emergency. It doesn't make any sense to me that we are transporting tomatoes from, across the globe, from New Zealand or wherever, when we can grow them here even a lot of the year with hothouses. And I know they have their own carbon footprint, but probably still better than transporting by air across the world. So that's what the inspiration was for it anyway. So, and it's finally here. You can get it in Kindle format as well. It's cheaper in Kindle format. I always like an actual book, but that's just me because I'm quite old-fashioned, as you can tell. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have chosen this title. So this is the contents page. It starts with frugal foundations, talking about really, basics and what to do if you're in debt and setting up a budget and that kind of thing. And then chapter 2 is really kind of that kind of idea that we've all been caught up in this consumerist lifestyle. We've been fed this lie, really, haven't we, that if we have this and this, we're going to be happy. And then you know by just looking at some celebrities who are openly really wealthy and have everything, and kind of symbols of conspicuous consumption, and many of them, you can see they're not happy. They have problems with drink and drugs and low self-esteem and that kind of thing. So I've got chapters on cooking and eating like grandma, and that's going back to what I was saying about eating more simply, but also newer skills like meal planning and shopping with a list and not shopping when you're hungry and those kind of things. And then there's a whole chapter on Granny's advice: make, do, amend, and waste not, want not. I think the wasting thing, it was actually illegal during the war to waste food. And you wouldn't have dreamt of wasting clothing because you just couldn't get anything. That was on ration as well. So it wouldn't hurt us to kind of go back to that sort of mentality, not just for our wallets, but also for the sake of the planet, I think. I've got a whole chapter on buying second hand and getting everything for less. Well, you know that I did a whole year of buying only second hand in 2021. I set myself a rule. And it was really easy for me to do that because I already spent my money on mostly pre-loved second-hand items, so it wasn't difficult. But obviously that's only possible because other people are so wasteful, isn't it, really? But at the moment we're in a situation where you can get pretty much anything you want second-hand, and once you get into that mindset, then you resent paying full price for anything. Well, I do anyway. And there are ways of getting things for less, haggling and just really looking out for good deals, and recognising what's a good deal and what's just a marketing ploy is the other thing. And chapter 6 is talking about slashing your monthly bills, and that's things like utilities, which, there's only so much we can do with energy bills at the moment in the UK and elsewhere, I'm sure, but there are other bills in your house that you could actually cut quite a lot. Making a frugal home. I've shown bits of things that we've done in this house where we've decorated and done a bit of DIY on a real tight budget. So it's along those kind of lines. The frugal cleaner. So yeah, we have to clean our homes, unfortunately. Not one of my favourite jobs. Although I don't mind cleaning, actually. If I've got time for cleaning, I quite enjoy that sense that you're making order out of chaos. And there's a lot of chaos in this house right at the moment because we are about to move house. But it's, you don't have to spend a fortune on cleaning products. If you buy all of the latest cleaning products, you're going to fill your house with chemicals as well. And our grandmothers didn't have that choice, and they kept a clean home. So it's more than possible for us to hark back to past times, really, in our cleaning routines. The frugal garden. So again, I love a garden centre. I could spend a fortune in a garden centre if I had the money, but I have to do things like go and buy seeds and compost from the garden centre. And you can grow a lot from seed. You can grow a lot from cuttings. You can save money on your food bill by growing some of your own food. This is all if you're lucky enough to have a garden, of course. Chapter 10 is frugal fashion, dressing for less. Well, again, harking back to me mainly buying secondhand, but also I've got 3 daughters who really dress quite stylishly, and they spend money on clothing sometimes. They'll tend to, my middle daughter particularly will buy good quality things that will last for a while. My youngest daughter is just brilliant at just eking out her money and finding things that she wants, but not buying them instantly. So she might see something in one of her favourite stores and think, okay, I want a skirt like that, and just keep looking out in the charity shops and on Vinted until she finds it. My oldest daughter is also really good for bargain hunting, and she's always in the £1 charity shop finding herself really good cheap clothing. But again, she also likes a nice bit of expensive sportswear, but if you combine the two, it's fine, isn't it? Chapter 11 is frugal, fun and travel. So me and Justin like to go on holiday every year, so there are ways to have holidays really quite a frugal, money-saving manner. So I talk about that in that chapter. But also, just days out and getting out and about, and particularly when you've got children, there's no reason why you should feel deprived just because you're on a budget. So, and that's my point, really. You can have fun without spending lots of money. Chapter 12 deals with Christmas, and obviously this is coming up, so it's quite relevant for now. And having a frugal Christmas. You don't have to spend a fortune enjoying Christmas, and you can scale back without feeling deprived, and also you can just decide to jump off that whole Christmas bandwagon. It's become so commercialised. We all know this. You know, there's very few of us that are practicing Christians who see this as an important part of our Christian year and probably don't even go to church, you know, but we just jump on the whole Christmas thing, even though we kind of forget what it's about, what it was originally about anyway. So, but there's ways of doing Christmas. You know, for example, when my children were small, there's no way I'd have said, oh, sorry, I'm not doing this, I'm jumping off the Christmas bandwagon, because they were part of the society, a society where Christmas is celebrated, and you know, we found ways to do that without spending a fortune. And I don't think my daughters felt deprived in any way. In fact, they'll tell you they didn't. They've got good Christmas memories. But, you know, I wasn't a skinflint, but I was just also really careful. Chapter 13 is health and well-being on a budget. Well, if you don't have your health, what do you have? And there are ways to keep yourself healthy without spending a small fortune. And then going back to the sustainability aspect, Chapter 4 kind of brings together the aspects of a frugal lifestyle that also happen to be green. It's called It Is Easy Being Green. So that's it in a nutshell. That's the book. As I say, you can get it in paperback form. I've read this one quite a lot. It's already made it curly, even though I've read this to death. I don't know why I keep looking through it. It's the novelty, really. I always wanted to write a book, and I'm so delighted that I finally got around to doing it. So I will leave the link below. It is available on Amazon. I know some of you hate Amazon, but you know, if you're self-publishing, it's actually, you don't have that many options. So I will leave that below. The Kindle version is $3.99 and this paperback version is $9.99. And if any of you buy it and if you like it and you want to leave me an Amazon review, I would be so appreciative of that, because I think people do buy from the reviews. I certainly do. You know, you want to know that somebody's read and enjoyed something. So anyway, that's it for now. Just a little plug and to let you know that it's finally here. If you do feel like you can support it, I'll love you for it, because I'm quite nervous about this. But, you know, a lot of you have told me already that you've bought it, that you're enjoying it, that you're going to buy it for relatives and friends for Christmas, or that you've asked for it for Christmas yourself. So that's really brilliant. So I'm really pleased if you have bought it already and you're enjoying it. So anyway, that's it for now. I'm off to do a bit more packing. We're moving next week, fingers crossed. So we still haven't exchanged contracts, but I'm expecting that to happen today or tomorrow. So it really is happening. So it's all happening at the same time. But, you know, having waited 5 years to get this book published, it just kind of fell into place. So even though it's at the same time as our house move, I don't care. It's fine. Let's get it all done, all the excitement done in one go. Anyway, I've got another video coming out on Sunday, so that's scheduled already. So look out for that, and I will see you next time. Bye for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe.